questions that you guys want to know about CCTV and you want me to cover those topics, just please make sure you leave the comment in the section. So who is in the house?
So 43 people joined already.
What are you watching from?
Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana.
Perfect. So I think we're good to start, right?
Yeah.
We have a... Okay, yeah, so we have guys in the house, so let's keep rolling.
A lot of them from Uganda.
All right, let's roll with Roland. That's what we're going to do. So yesterday I did speak about...
Australia as well.
Hey, Australia, how's it going? Yeah. When you come across any kangaroo, say hi. I'm just being sarcastic, don't worry. Well, so yesterday I was talking about the different types of cameras that we had. I mentioned that we have analog cameras. And analog cameras, some of the characteristics are they do have a BNC connector. They need separate power. And that could be that 12 volts DC or 24 volts AC. These are some of the characteristics. Not intelligent. They need a digital video recorder. Quality, image quality. Not the greatest. And also, there's not much you can do about it, right? So for analog cameras, they need a BNC connector. And what I meant by talking about a BNC connector was this type of connector on it. They need a separate power here. In the comment, I need to know if you can add some to what I'm talking about, like some of the things about an analog camera. Let's see what you know about an analog camera. They need that separate power supply to go with it. These guys are not intelligent. They're just dummies, right? They just take whatever they capture the image, send it to the digital video recorder, DVR, for processing. That's what these guys do. The image quality is not the greatest, right? The live view is great. But when you take that image to save it on the hard drive, it has to go through digitization and compression. And when you do a playback, you don't have the greatest of the image. They are cheap. They're very cheap. You can buy this 2 megapixel analog one for maybe $20. They're very cheap. Also, what I can add from here is no analytics. So nothing can be done on the edge. It has to be done on the recorder side. Right? You cannot do any analytics on this. Like, it's pretty much dummy. But they do come in, not again. What they do come in, you can get these ones in the HD, high definition. They do come in high definition. High definition, yeah, that's it. You can get them in high definition, and you can also get them in turret. You can get them in dome. You can get them in box, and you can get them in bullets, as well as PTZ. So you can get them in all the different shapes and formats. So this has to do with analog cameras. Now let's talk about, did someone talk about some additions to these ones?
Not really.
Perfect. So let's go and talk about the next one. Let's look at IP cameras. So what are some of the characteristics of IP cameras? These are analogs. First of all, one, intelligent. They're smart. Two, they use a twisted pair cable with an RJ45 jack. Medium of connectivity. Twisted pair cable. Plus RJ45 jack.
Somebody said Cat 6 cable.
Yeah, so when you talk about a twisted pair cable comprises of category 5E, 6, 6A, 7, 7A, and 8. So anything twisted pair cable is this, right? That's just what that is. Power and data on one cable. So I just need one cable, and I can send power and data on this. Superior quality. I said it, very intelligent. You can capability of recording on the camera plus storage. So you're able to record and store videos on this camera. Two-way communication. You can do two-way communication on this. 7. Many more analytics. So when you compare this to an analog, these ones can do so many things. They can trigger devices. You need an IP address for this. They also do have a graphical user interface. So we call that a GUI. So I can add that to here. Graphical user interface. So there are so many things about this camera that it's a superior type of camera. Very intelligent. They're like a computer. You can log into it. You can make so many configurations. You can configure this to be a video recorder on its own. It's not all of them though. You have to buy one that has the capability of storing a micro SD card on the camera itself. And you can also use the twisted pair as the medium of connectivity, because that's what you have here. You can just plug it into a switch, and you have the capability of either supplying separate power or connecting this to a power over Ethernet enabled switch, and it's going to provide power and data on the same cable, which is a twisted pair cable. The image is superior. Like, you can get so much image. The quality on this is phenomenal. You can enable two-way communication. Again, not all of them, but most IP cameras, they have the capability, if it has that feature built in, to have two-way communication, and many more. You can do some analytics on it. So what we call analytics on the edge. This is an edge device. So I can install this, and this camera has the capability of processing some of those analytics, like line crossing, objects left behind, object removal, motion detection, area, perimeter entry. You can do so many analytics with these ones, and all that processing is done on the physical camera. So you don't need a video recorder to do that, right? So that is what these ones are. You need some knowledge to be able to play with these ones. For analog, plug and play. Like I said, it's a dummy. All you have to do is plug it in, it takes the video feed, and it just displays it. No programming done on the camera end. The same cannot be said with this. Even though we can do some plug and play features with this, most of the times it is dependent on the fact that if I'm using a Legend branded camera, then I have to use a Legend branded video recorder, and that video recorder needs to be an embedded video recorder. Once I plug it in to that same matching brand, they have created a protocol communication that allows the camera to be automatically detected by the video recorder, and then the connection does happen. So these are a few things about the IP and analog cameras. Now let's look at connectivity. Well, connectivity. How do I connect an analog camera? So first, connectivity, analog. What you need is a digital video recorder. That is what it stands for. DVR stands for digital video recorder. And with the digital video recorder, when you look at the back of the recorder, some of the things that you expected to see are a bunch of BNC connectors. These ones will come in a 4-channel, 8-channel, 16-channel, 32-channel, and 64-channel. That's what you can get them in. They come with these ones, the BNC connector. They could have so many other features with that. Some of the feature sets you could get on the NVR, it's not all of them. You could get a USB port. You could get a network port. You could have an audio input / output. You could have that on it. You could have an HDMI. You could also have a VGA output.
Can you just ask them how they stream?
Yeah, okay. We're just trying to make sure that the streaming is smooth. If you guys are having latency, just write the word latency. But if it's smooth, just write the word smooth underneath it so that we can see if we have to change a few things. And if the training is going well and I'm going at an okay pace, give me a thumbs up. If I'm going too fast, just type slow. And yeah, pretty much that's and some of them would give you an alarm, input, and output. And they have a hard drive. So these are pretty much some of the things, the feature sets you find with an NVR. So, with a DVR, a digital video recorder. That's how it looks like. Depends on who makes them. This particular one has the capability of only one hard drive. So I can put only one hard drive here. But for you to know more about this video recorder, there is something we call data sheet. First of all, you have to look for the model number. The model number is the sticker you're going to find. Find out who makes that. The model number, go on the internet, go to Google, type the model number and who makes them, and just type datasheet.pdf. So you're going to type datasheet.pdf. I always like to go to the manufacturer's website and pull it up. Right, this day and age, there are so many scammers out there. There's so many scam clickbaits and etc. etc. So personally, I just don't want to click on random links. You could end up getting your customer's computer or your own personal laptop infected. So if it's made by Dawa, I want to go, even though I do a Google search, I want to see the one that it's coming from Dawa's website. And I'm going to click on the data sheet for that model, download it, and it's going to give me all that information about this. So these are just some of the things that you have, and they can come in all these channels. This particular one that I have comes in, it's an 8 channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it's an 8 channel, what it means is I can add a maximum of 8 cameras. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So if I have 9 cameras, there are 2 things I have to do. Either I buy one more of this and stack it on top, or I take this out and I replace it with a 16 channel, one that is bigger. That is a problem with analog cameras. So you can buy them in the channels that you want. Okay, so let's go back and look at some of the connectivity interface of this. So I would have my camera here. That's my camera. It's going to come with 2 pigtails. This has the BNC, and this has the power. This is going to be all the way in the remote side, and this video recorder is going to be in the server room. So how do I connect this? There are 2 ways I could connect it. I could use the coaxial cable. And the coaxial cable is this type of cable that I spoke about yesterday. It's a cable that has a center conductor and it has some braiding around it. That's just a coaxial cable. Now, once I install this, I have to install a BNC connector on the end. So coaxial cable with a BNC connector. So these are going to connect there. But that is just going to be for that connector. Notice that I need power. So I need to run a separate power cable. Usually it's going to be a 2 conductor. This is where the catch is. The farther you run the cable, the thicker the cable gauge that you need. If we talk in millimeters, then it's a bigger number. If we talk in American wire gauge, then it's a smaller number that we're looking at. There is a chart that you can just go on Google and just Google cable voltage to distance chart. And it's going to give you a chart saying that if you're running 12 volts at 2 amps and it's going 200 meters, this is the gauge of cable that you need. If you're running 50 feet, you need this cable gauge. So that one, I'll leave that to you. There is, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. Look at the cable look at the voltage that you are sending over what distance, and that will tell you the appropriate gauge of cable to use. So notice how with this one camera, I have to run 2 cables, a coaxial and a 2 conductor cable with American gauge. Or this is one type of connectivity. Or connectivity number 2, you need to use a twisted pair cable. And that twisted pair cable is just what you guys call Ethernet wire. If you come to my class, you don't call it Ethernet wire. You call it by the right name. It's a twisted pair cable. That's what it's called. So after enrolling here or watching me live stream, you should call this cable by the right name. It's not an Ethernet wire. Ethernet is a protocol, and that protocol resides on this type of cable. So the right cable of this is a twisted pair cable, and it's got the RJ45 male plugs on it. So you need a twisted pair cable. However, when you look at the interface, you cannot connect this twisted pair cable to that interface. A twisted pair cable is also known as a balanced cable. This is balanced because when you look at a twisted pair, the cables are like this, are twisted together. And that twist cancels out the noise. So we call this cable a balanced cable. These ones, on the other hand, are not balanced. The coaxial cable, unbalanced. Okay, so from here, it's an analog signal. It has to come all the way here, and the digital video recorder will convert it, compress it, and store it onto the hard drive inside, hard disk drive. That's how this one works. So if I happen to use this, remember I have an unbalanced signal, an analog signal, but this cable is balanced. So for me to be able to take an unbalanced signal and send it over a balanced cable, I need what we call a balun. All right? I need a balun. L-U-N. That's what it is. A balun just stands for balanced, unbalanced. That's just all it means. Balance, unbalanced. A balun. So they took this, B-A-L, balance, and they took U-N, and they called it a balun. These baluns, they come in different types, and anytime you buy them, they come in pairs. That is how a balun looks like. They do come in pairs, right? Depending on how you buy it, if you buy them with connectors on the ends, one of the connectors should be a male, the other one should be a female. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this analog signal and you're going to connect it to the one that has this pigtail. Remember that when we look at the analog camera, which is like this, that is the pigtail that we have. One of them is the B and C, so I can connect the B and C's together, push and twist. The other one is the power. I need the male from the balun to connect to the female on the camera, like that. So definitely, this one on this side is going to be responsible for balancing that analog signal, this first one. So I put the balun on the cable. So this is my twisted pair cable. So on the camera side, I'm going to balance the signal. Balance. So I took that analog thing, balanced the signal, and now because this is a balanced cable, it can run all the way on this cable, no issues, the twisted pair cable, no issues. Now once I get to the end where the video recorder is, I got to get the second one. And the second one has the female power port. And I'm going to connect it to the other end of the cable, like this. And this is going to be responsible for unbalancing the signal and give it that analog feed. So here now I'm going to get that analog signal, right?
Never knew balun was short for balance and unbalance.
Now you know, right? That's just what it means. Now you know. Balance, unbalance. So you have the analog feed, and this analog feed is recognized by the video recorder. you connect it to it, and it can do whatever it has to do. So remember, that is how you can use this also to do the conversion. Once you provide data and power, the idea is the video should pop up right away. So I have the camera, video recorder, and I have the monitor. That's the monitor here. So I need an HDMI or a VGA cable. So from here to this, it could be HDMI or VGA. Or if you have one of those old monitors, it could be a BNC as well. That's connecting to your monitor. If the video recorder has a VGA out, you could also use that. If it's got a if it's got a BNC, you could use that. So this particular one has the VGA and it has the HDMI. Yeah, I'll show you one of them. This old one here, even though it's not a DVR, but it still has, I'm going to lift it up so that you can see, but it still has a BNC out. See, like this one? Can they see?
Yeah.
So this one has the video out. You see, it's got a BNC. At the same time, it's got a VGA out, and it's got, all right, this one doesn't have an HDMI. Oh, it does. So there's an HDMI, there's a VGA, and there's a BNC. So 3 video outputs you can use on this one. Right, so if your video recorder comes with one of them, you could also use it. So this could be this type of cables. So from here, you need your cable to connect to this. And this could be a BNC with coaxial cable. So it's a coaxial cable with BNC connectors on both ends. And you need power. Usually 2 conductor. This camera is going to be at the far end. In wherever this video recorder is going to be, there's going to be a power outlet. So you can take one outlet and connect it to the video recorder power. So you have another one, you can take that and maybe put it to an extension, a power bar, where you could plug multiple things in. You need to provide this here. If you have multiple of them, you could use a camera power supply. It could be a 12 volts DC or 24 volt AC. So that power supply is going to be plugged in, and you're going to bring your power supply all the way to, you have plus, minus. You could have multiple of them. So your first camera connects there, second camera connects, etc. Once you connect power and video, the idea is that camera should pop up here. If you plug it into channel number 1, channel number 1 is going to pop up. These channels are defined, right? You cannot change the channel. They are defined, even though in the software, you can click and drag this image here. But that doesn't mean that the channel has changed. The channel is still going to be number 1, but the display is going to be on channel 8. When you go into details, it's still telling you that that's channel number 1, but you just change the position. Another thing too that happens here is, because of the different types of cameras and connectivity that we do have. Yesterday I was mentioning that there are 3 or more camera formats that is being used. We have the CVI, we have the TVI, we have the HDTV I, we have the CVBS. This one stands for Composite Video Baseband Signaling. This composite video interface. This is transport video interface. This is the high definition version. You could have HD, CVI, etc., etc. And you also have one that we call AHD, analog high definition. You could have also these ones. So the idea for a basic analog camera is that once I just take that and I connect it, I'm supposed to have the video just pop up. So the idea here is once I just take this, connect power, and I'm supposed to have an image. But that's always not the case. This camera or the video recorder that I'm using, let's say this is made by a company called Dawa. And Dawa, they are known to support the CVI format. And I bought this camera from Hikvision, for example. Hikvision camera supports the TVI by default. But because they want to make sure that this camera is capable of recording to a CVI format, so what they've also done is you can go on this camera and it's got a switch here. And this switch allows you to switch between all those formats that I wrote. So if you plug it in and your camera is not coming up, just go here, start switching them. As you switch them, once you get the correct signal that matches your video recorder and the camera, you're going to see the image is going to pop up right away. And it's very easy. Your images are up. Any configuration that you have to do would have to be from here, your video recorder. Right, so once you program your video recorder, that's where you can schedule how long to record, when to record. Any analytics that you want to do is going to be done on that video recorder. All right, so now that we understand how to connect analog cameras to analog video recorders, digital video recorders, let's move on. One thing I have to say is, when it comes to analog cameras, it doesn't matter. You can take any camera made by any brand, take a video recorder made by any brand, you can have connectivity with it. It's plug and play, very simple. Now let's look at IP. IP cameras.
Including alerts and motion detections?
Yes, alerts and motion detections. All that is done on the video recorder, not on the camera. These guys are useless, right? They don't have a brain of their own. So you do all that.
Can an IP camera be connected to DVR?
IP camera? Nope. You can rather connect it to a hybrid, right? I'm going to talk about hybrid after I speak about IP cameras. So now let's look at the connectivity. You have the camera here. You need a video recorder here. And you have your monitor. Now let's look at this. Before we were looking at a digital video recorder. This time we're looking for a network video recorder. And we call that NVR. That's what you're looking for. Depending on the type of video recorder you're looking at, there could be two types. One of them is Windows or Linux based. And the other one could be an embedded NVR. What's the difference? When you take a Windows or a Linux based, it is just a regular Windows computer or a Linux computer. So you take that computer and you come to, let's say, Roland. Roland manufactures video management software. So I have written a software to record cameras. So you come to me and you say, hey, I need to use your software. So I said, okay, that's fine. To use my software, you have to pay $20. But every camera you connect, so if you want to connect one camera, you pay $2 for one camera. If you want 5, you pay for 5 licenses. So that's how it is. So most of these are license-based. Embedded, however, is this NVR has been made by a specific manufacturer, and they have written their software onto a chipset, and the chipset is embedded in here. So that chipset only has their software. That's it. It's not Windows that you put a third party. This is on it. The processing power is limited. What this video recorder can do is limited. Like the number of channels is limited. The processing power is limited. The chipset, the speed, all that stuff is limited. How much resolution of cameras you can connect to this is also limited. So with embedded, most of the times they are limited, but the catch here is it's cost effective. They're cheap, right? You can buy it and on the go. With Windows based, if you want to use a Windows based, you can go and pick a computer, your own specification. So I can pick up a computer running Xeon processors, or I can pick up a computer running an i5, i7, i9, whatever processing power that I need. I buy that. I can determine how much storage I want, and I can buy a server so I can populate that with so much storage and just throw the Windows software on it, buy the recorder software, buy the license, and that's going. From there, with Windows based, I can add from 1 all the way to 500 depending on how powerful the computer is. With embedded, you're limited. I think the most I've seen with embedded is 256 cameras max. But even with that, the resolution is the catch. With these ones, you can go with, let's say, 12 megapixel for at least 500 cameras or 400 cameras. It all depends on the processing power of the server. With this, the embedded, the processing power is limited. So they'll tell you if you want to connect 256 cameras, the maximum resolution of each camera should be, let's say, 2 megapixel. That's it. So you can have 2 megapixel at 256 cameras. However, you can have 64 cameras at maybe 8 megapixel each, depending on what. There are caveats and catches when it comes to this. Let's go back to the connectivity. So these are the two types of video recorders we have, the embedded or the Windows-based. What we're going to be talking about today are embedded video recorders. Embedded video recorders. So they have the chipset in it. Now, modern video recorders that I'm going to show you comes in two types. Some of them do have what we call a set of switch inbuilt in this. So on the back of the video recorder, you could have here some Ethernet ports. And on here, you would have a LAN port. So this is going to be your LAN port. These are going to be your camera connectivity ports. And then you have your HDMI, you have your power, etc., etc. One thing you guys have to understand is the LAN port and the camera ports, there is no connectivity between them. These are on a separate network. This is going to be on a separate network. These ones here, what they do have is they have inbuilt DHCP. And what DHCP stands for is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So with this, when I connect this camera with a twisted pair cable, when you connect this camera to one of these ports here, twisted pair cable. And that could be, let's say, a Cat 5e. I plug this in. There is a condition. If this video recorder is made by, let's say, GSD, then this camera has to be made by GSD. So if GSD Group makes this camera, GSD is supposed to make this NVR. So when you take this and you connect it here, this, because it has a DHCP server, it is going to automatically assign an IP address to this camera. And it's going to configure the camera, and automatically this is going to pop up on our screen. Automatic. So I take the second camera, let's say I have another camera here, and I take that and I connect it here. Right away it's going to, but that's the condition. These two cameras have to be made by the same manufacturer. So if it's a Hikvision camera, it has to be a Hikvision NVR. If it's Daiwa camera, Daiwa NVR. TP-Link NVR, TP-Link cameras. That's the way. Plug and play, easy. The reason why this was made was a lot of people back in the days were so comfortable with the analog plug and play. There was no science behind it. You take the camera, you plug it in, boom, the image shows up. But when there was that transition from the analog world into the IP space, it's not too many people who understood that technology. It's not a lot of people who understood how to program an IP address, how to create a subnet, all those things. It was going like over people's heads. So the camera people, they were losing a lot of business, because you find the old school guys, they don't even know how to use a computer, let alone program an IP address. So they said, we're going to make it easier for them so that they can continue to install cameras and do whatever they have to do. So they came up with this embedded thing. These ones, they are PoE enabled. So as soon as you connect it, it provides power, it provides data, it configures the camera, populates it up for you. Easy.
What is the full meaning of DHCP, please, and explain small?
Oh, DHCP? DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So I'm just going to go into it as simple as it is. It's got a list of IP addresses, right? So dynamic, meaning that it changes. It can change the numbers that it's assigning. It configures the host. That is the host, right? It's a protocol that does this. So when you bring a camera and you connect to this, it is going to assign that camera or that device with an IP address. Let me explain that a little bit. So let's say I have this DHCP table. And this DHCP table has been assigned 192.168.2. it's going to start assigning numbers from. So this particular DHCP server might be .1. Okay? And it's going to assign from 2 to 254. So it's got a table of, let's say, IP address 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way. But within this, it's got what we also call MAC address. So anytime someone connects to a DHCP server, right, it could be wireless or hardwired. So you have the DHCP server. Let's say this is what it is. It's got a network port here. And you take that and connect it to a big switch. Right? That's just what it does. Or it could be wireless as well. So if I pull up my cell phone and I go on Wi-Fi, it's going to connect to here, and it's going to ask for an IP address. If I have a laptop and I have a hardwired and I connect to this, so long as my laptop is on DHCP, I've enabled myself to be assigned an IP address. I connect to this. This is connected to this. It goes to the table and looks. And it would say that laptop is requesting to be part of this network. It looks at the available numbers that are available, and it would assign it to that guy. So let's say the laptop comes in, and it looks number 8 is available. It's going to take the MAC address of this one. The MAC address is a unique number that is only, you can have only one MAC address assigned to one device. So it's going to take that MAC address and it's going to assign an IP address. So this laptop is now going to be 192.168.2.8. That is what this laptop is going to be. So I have a camera. And I connect this here.
This is exactly where most people begin to detest, and we are.
Exactly, right? So this is just a little bit that we're going in. So I take this camera, I connected this switch. This is a PoE switch. PoE means power over Ethernet. So I connected here. This switch will supply power to this camera. The camera turns on, and it says, where am I? If DHCP is enabled on this, then it goes to the DHCP server. It says, I need an IP address. I need to connect to this network. What can I do? So the DHCP says, wait a second, what is your MAC address? It will say my MAC address is 00.25.36.4:54:31:2C. This is my MAC address. It says, okay, it looks through the table and see number 4, it's available. So it says your IP address now is 192.168.2.4.
Sounds more like networking class now.
But you have to understand this to be able to configure cameras. And this is where a lot of people did not understand. So when it came to networking class and IP cameras, they were completely lost. And the manufacturers were losing a ton of money. So they said, how can we make all these things that are flying above people's heads, how can we simplify it? So they built this. They built this with the DHCP server, and they said, well, we can make it easier for you. If you buy the video recorder, buy my cameras. I make your life easy. Just plug and play, and it's done, right? But they provided the LAN port for advanced users who understood all these IP addressing stuff, and they were able to use this to add additional cameras to it. So when I go back here, that's just pretty much what it is. So when you log into your DHCP table and you're looking for a specific device, let's say I know this camera has a MAC address of that, but I don't know what the IP address is. I can log into my DHCP and I'll look at the table, look for that MAC address. It will tell me what IP address has been assigned to it. That's just pretty much what DHCP is in the nutshell. If my explanation was good, thumbs up. If you want more explanation, just type explain or just type further and I'll break it down again.
Very well, meaning DSCP has to be enabled on the NVR in order to assign IP address to each camera.
Correct, but with this one, it's already enabled on the NVR, right? This is what the manufacturers have done because they know that the average person even doesn't know what DHCP is. So let alone you disabling it and telling them to go enable it. So on this guy, it is automatically enabled. When you buy it, default, this is automatically enabled, right? And this is how they've done it. When you buy a brand new camera and you take it out of the box, DHCP is enabled. Once you connect it here, DHCP is enabled. So we're going to come to the point that if DHCP is enabled, how can I find that IP address? If it's been given an IP address of this. So let's say now that camera has been given an IP address of this, 192.168.2.4. How am I able to know that it's assigned a 2x4, which we're going to come to, straightforward. But so far, if we understand this, that's good. So same camera brand, same video recorder, connect it here. If you don't know anything about IP addressing. Another thing that we can understand is if I buy a 4-channel video recorder like what I have here, this one from the GSD group, very nice NVR, very compact, but this one also only accommodates 1 hard drive. So you always have to look at the data sheet. If you want a lot of storage, then maybe you need one that has 2 hard drive storages. But this is accommodating a maximum of 4. The question I get a lot is, even though it says 4, am I able to add other cameras using the LAN port? The answer is no.
Somebody asked a similar question. How many cameras can DSCP host?
Oh,
Does it depend on NVR slots?
Yes, if you have the DHCP, under normal circumstances, DHCP will do up to 254, right? That's what it's going to do. But even though we have 254 on that, and you have a 4-channel video recorder, it's just going to do 4. It's just going to assign 4 IP addresses, and that's it, max. So a 4-channel would do a maximum of 4 cameras. Now, if I take another video recorder, it's the same size, small form factor, but this is made by TP-Link, right? And in class, students get to work with a lot of embedded video recorders here. This one here, when you look closely, it's got 8 channels, and it's got a LAN port here as well. So with this one, the DHCP is going to assign 8 IP addresses, and that's it. That's the max. Am I able to add 1 more camera? No, 8 maximum, that's it. If I want to do more than 8, then I have to get a video recorder that will do 16, etc., etc. So now that we understand using this port, what is the other way we can connect a camera using the LAN port? There is a way. Let's go on to the next slide. So the next slide is I have the video recorder here, NVR, even though it's still got these ports here. And I have the monitor here. That's my monitor. And I have the HDMI cable. Now I have camera number 1, C1. I have a bullet camera here, or I have another dome, C2. And I have a third one, C3. This is made by GSD. This is made by Hikvision. This is made by TP-Link.
Is there a virtual NVR that can accommodate more ports aside getting the physical product?
Is there what?
Virtual NVR
Virtual NVR?
that can accommodate more ports aside getting the physical product.
more ports, more channels. I think you're talking about channels. There's so many virtual ones. Like if you store your video on the cloud, that's a virtual one. So you're not physically connecting to a device. You're connecting that camera to the cloud. Okay, so this is where IP addressing comes in, and this is where cloud storage or non-physical connectivity. So you take your camera, you connect it to record to the cloud, and you're doing that by channel. So any camera you connect, you are purchasing one license. Let's take this video recorder as well. This is the LAN port here. Even though I have one LAN port, that's what I was going to come to. This is made by TP-Link, this is made by Hikvision, this is made by GSD. I could decide that because this is made by GSD, and I take this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4 channel. I can decide to take this and connect it directly here to number 4. What is going to happen is this, because they're the same brand, this is going to provide camera to this camera, configure it, and now channel number 4, this is channel number 1, 2, 3, 4. Channel number 4 is going to show an image. It's going to do that auto configuration for me. And because that is showing an image, I wouldn't be able to program channel 4 again. Channel number 4 is taken. Now, when I take this and I connect it to this, the camera is not going to come up. I have made it work before, but you have to know how to make it work, right? You have to log into here and do some manipulation to let it work. It's possible, right? We have played a lot of these things. I can take this camera, but when I come here, there are some IP address changes and stuff that I need to do to make it work. When I have the same camera brand and the same video recorder, there are a few things that I bypass, right? The initial setup. I bypass 1, IP address. I bypass IP addressing. 2, I bypass the username. And 3, I bypass the password. Because whatever password is assigned to the video recorder gets transferred to this guy here. Okay, but these ones, when I connect them here, nothing is not going to happen. I have to be able to program the username on here. I need to be able to program 1, IP address. I need to program the username. 3, I need to program the password. And 4, I need to know the correct protocol to connect to it. So I need to know these things before I can take this and maybe connect it here. These are the things that I need to know. If they are like-minded, it bypasses all that, including the protocol, because they both utilize the same protocol. So let's see. There's this way that we could do this. So for me to be able to do this and to bypass all that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my own switch. PoE switch. And the switch that I'm going to introduce, I could get them in a 4-port, an 8-port, an 8+2, a 16-port, 16+2, 24-port, etc. But yeah, I just have a few cameras. So let's say this is an 8-port PoE switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, when it comes to these switches, a switch is something that is going to direct traffic. But there's more to a switch, which I'm going to cover in a separate class. So this switch is going to provide power and switching abilities. So I take this one, camera number 1, and I'm going to connect it here using a twisted pair cable. And I'm going to take the Hikvision and I'm going to connect it here. Now I'm going to take the NVR's LAN port and I'm going to connect it here. But that's not it. there's one more thing that I need. I need a computer to be able to program these cameras to allow for connectivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a laptop and I'm going to put my laptop here. That is my laptop. And I'm going to take the LAN port from here and I'm going to connect it here. So you see how I have connected all the devices here. The switch is what allows for transfer of data between different devices. Most of the switches would have what we call the MAC address table. And like I said, all these guys, they have a MAC address. MAC means, I'm not talking about the word laptop, right? The Mac laptop. That's not what I'm talking about. This Mac that I'm talking about is called Media Access Control. Okay, that's what MAC address is. So in most switches, they have a table. And the table has port number 1. So let's say, for example, this is what it is in the switch. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. If it's an 8 port, it would have that. And it would have the MAC address. So if you connect to this port, the first thing the switch is going to say is, tell me what your MAC address is. If the laptop connects into port number 8, it will go to number 8 and register it. This makes a switch more different from a hub, right? A hub would do a broadcast, but a switch is intelligent and route the traffic exactly where it's supposed to be. So if this was a hub, for example, and this camera wanted to talk to this video recorder, it is going to make a broadcast to all these ports. They're all going to hear the broadcast. Hey, I need to talk to Arjun. Everyone is going to hear it. But a switch is intelligent because it has that table. And it knows that Arjun is on port number 8, and I'm on port number 1. So if I need to communicate with Arjun, it just takes the information and sends it directly to Arjun. All the other ports even don't know that I'm communicating with Arjun, and thereby reducing the traffic and increasing the speed. That is what a switch does. So now I've connected everything like this. I have to, first of all, know and assign an IP address to this camera. I have to assign a username. I have to assign a password. And based on that, I'll come and be able to connect it to this video recorder. Because it's an embedded video recorder, once I've done all that programming and I come on the video recorder, I have to determine which of the channels that I want this camera to come. So let's say I want to fill channel number 1. I take my laptop, connect to this guy, program it, and then assign it to channel number 1. Same thing, I take my laptop, I come to this camera, I connect to it, do the programming, connect it to channel number 2. And once I'm able to do that successfully with the username, the password, the protocol, and an IP address, I will sure be able to get an image pop up. But it's not that easy. So let's see what the steps involves if we have to do that. This is something that we're going to do in the next class, but it's very interesting. What we're going to do in the next class is, I have a camera. So I have it, let's say Hikvision. I have a switch. I have the video recorder. I have my laptop. And I have my monitor. It's not really necessary to have the monitor if you're using your laptop, but it's always good to have it that you can always see it. First of all, this is the switch. Laptop connected here. Video recorder has the LAN port. And this connected here. There is a way to find this guy, let this guy change this guy, make it understand all the feature sets that I want to be compatible with this guy. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Right? So I'm going to spend 2 minutes, take questions. Let me know if the lesson today made sense. Whether you learned something new, like we're always here to learn. If you learned something new, share our videos, subscribe, follow us, give us a big follow. And thank you very much. I think we hit 10K, did we? We're supposed to have hit 10K last week. Did we not?
We're close.
Come on, guys. Come on, 10K, guys. If I get 10K, tomorrow I'm going to do 1.5 hours. Otherwise, I'm just going to stick to 1 hour.
9,978.
Look! We are at this. You guys make it happen. You said we are what?
9,978.
9,978.
9 now.
Oh, somebody gave us 9 now. Okay, let's see the numbers go up. Those of you who are watching but haven't followed us now, give us a follow.
Oh, 80 now.
Okay, so now we're at 80. Okay, who else? Who else is giving us a follow?
I think most of them are already followers.
Most of them are followers, right? So any new person here who haven't followed us, can we hit 90?
81 now.
81, thank you. So now we are at 81. We have other socials as well. We have Facebook. We have LinkedIn. We have TikTok. We have all of them. And, you know, all this class that, whatever we did today, we recorded it on another camera. Just the same thing. It's unedited. We have another camera there, you can see. He's recording everything, and he's just going to take that, not edited, and take that and just upload it to YouTube. So let's say you were in this class and something, or you had to step out briefly and you missed, and you want to catch up. You can just go back on our YouTube channel, Delmi Training. It's our YouTube is at Delmi Training. And watch. We have lots of videos there, right? Just watch. Whilst you're there, share them. It doesn't take away from you if you share our videos and someone else gets the benefit of learning. Share them, tag us, right? If you have any questions, put comment. And that's just how we can grow as a community. We also have a WhatsApp page group that you can also join. I think the TikTok bio is there. You can just follow us from there. And this way, anytime we're going to go live, we're going to put it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the community from there like that. It's just one big community that we're here to learn. I want to thank each and every one of you. Do you have questions?
Working on smart cameras that can be used in institution to detect fights, fire, and military.
Oh, there's so much. There's so many of them. One of them is the GSD camera. It can do so many things. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, yeah, this camera. This camera can do so many things. It's not GSD alone. There are so many cameras out there. And one of the things that GSD does best is they focus on the AI. So even though the camera might look exactly the same as another camera, but the software is different. So look at these two cameras. They look identical, right? These two cameras, they look identical. Pretty much identical. But it's the software feature in it that determines what the camera is capable of doing. That's just it. This one is a HIC. This is GSD, right? It is the software that is in there that makes the difference.